Don't forget. Welcome to Tuesday Team Call. Yay.
I love seeing so many people
Sad.
on.
I know. I feel like we have so many girls who got signed up in their first month and are all like rushing towards Success Starter, earning those summit tickets for next year. Hopefully. Please. If we don't get to go to Summit next year, I might just call it a day. But we thought it would be a good idea just to kind of recap a couple things when you do first sign up, and then when you do first sign up your first coach, because there's some big perks that come with that. So number one, if let's say you signed up today is April 7th, you have, this is like a freebie month. So you have, or is it now? No, it isn't anymore.
Mm-mm.
So this
because
would
now
count.
that you have 6 months, it starts. You're good.
Yeah. So you basically have 6 months to hit Success Club. Doesn't have to be consecutively, just 6 months or just 3 times within the first 6 months of being a coach. Once that happens, once you do that, you are going to get an invite to a test group. And what that means is you're going to get a secret box in the mail that none of us get to know about. And you get to be a part of a group, like a brand new program that's coming out. And you'll do that alongside with a trainer, which is like my dream. And you really want to get that. That's like amazing. Number 2.
You better share with us when that happens to you girls. You better tell us everything.
And then Zoom us for all the workouts so that we can have those transformations first. Just kidding. But really, I honestly believe that like that's like your ticket to like your business blowing up, because everybody who's ever been a part of any kind of test group, I swear, they start with this. They get like, especially 80 Days Obsession, that like kickstarted people into a place of like complete freedom. So you get the test group, you get a ticket to Summit. You get to be a Success Starter, which is a really big deal for your team. You're going to bring in 25 points towards like your standing, which just goes towards like wherever you stand as a team globally. So like, for example, Danny, if you were to hit, I don't know if do you still have Success Starter? Are you still in there? I feel like she is, right? I feel like you've been within 6 months. So when you do that, you're going to get 25 points for Cece, and that will go towards her elite points, or not her elite points, I'm sorry, her standing points. Does that make sense? So if you're like ranked 50, you're going to now be ranked, and let's say nobody else changed, you would be 25, just on a like really small, really like percent scale. But that's a big deal. That's a really big deal. And then of course, sorry. And then from a standpoint on our team, you're also going to get a gift from us as well. So that it's just a really, it shows that you're moving forward. You're going to get, when you go to Summit, you'll get like a Success Starter banner. You get stuff from, I think you get to have a couple calls with some of the Beachbody people, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yep. Anything else? Am I missing anything?
I don't think so.
I don't think so. Anyway, it's a big deal. It's a really, really big deal.
And there's a really good stat. I don't remember exactly what it is, but the statistic of a successful high figure earning business that if you start as a Success Starter goes up. I just totally messed up what that means. Is anybody following what I mean? Success Starters tend to have a lot more success in the business going forward. It's definitely a huge push for your business to be a Success Starter. There's an actual statistic of that I don't know off the top of my head, but it's a real thing. And I just want to emphasize the test group thing, because I think that is the coolest perk that they've ever done. So the way they used to do test groups is nobody knew how you got to be in it. Like randomly you might get picked. It seemed to be they would pick elite coaches from the previous year, but it's not like you could apply or do any, there's no way to like earn it. And now there's a way to earn it. And a lot of us don't even have the chance to earn anymore because we've been on the team for too long. So for those of you who have an opportunity to be Success Starters, run for it. You can do it. Julie, you're in standing. You also earned your first point in your first month, which is a huge, huge deal. So congratulations. And I know Danny's in the running for it. And who else do we have on here that is, who's been a Success Starter?
On
That's
here
on
we
the
don't.
right now. Kara, and Cece.
I have
And
two, yeah, and
Joey
Joey and
and
Anna.
Tim.
And then Christina King, she has 1 month left and she could do it this month or next month and she'll be a success starter. Julia McAteer got 1 point towards her as a first time coach. So she'll be working towards it. And then Brooke Lumen, she actually got the test group. I don't know if you guys know who Brooke is. Maybe, sort of.
Oh,
She's
she
around.
did. So did she
She
already
got,
know?
no, it hasn't been announced, but she did earn her success. And so did my dad, but that doesn't really do anything for me. So my dad and Brooke are going to be in some test group. That's really cool. But yeah. So we'll
It's pretty
see.
bad.
Actually, and so did oh, it's so funny. Christina just texted me. And so did another one of my coaches too, but they don't do the business either. But anyway, they'll all get an invite to the test group that is miraculous that none of us will know. And then they won't do it and I'll be really sad. So it's okay.
Well, tonight we wanted to talk about recruiting. I feel like it is a hot topic right now, and this opportunity just needs to be in the ears of more people. I feel very strongly about that. And I think we should rally as a team to be the person who inspires the person to start a business, because there's no time like the present in this crazy land that we're living in these days. We just actually got off of our Diamond Squad call. First Tuesday of every month, we have a Diamond Squad call prior to our team call, and we had kind of started to talk about this topic, which, by the way, I know there's a lot of you on this call who are new to the Diamond Squad. Joey, congratulations. Who else? I'm looking at everybody. No more newbies that are on here, but congrats, Joey, again. And I just have to shout out Anna because you are hot on everybody's heels. So anyways, guys, our Diamond Squad is growing. Okay, I know I paused for a minute. You guys are like, hey, Andy's going to go off on a weird tangent. But I just have to reiterate that 2019 was such a momentous year for this team as a whole. And I don't want that to go to the wayside just because we don't get to go to Summit and graduate together. That's what I was going to say. Mom brain. Celebrate together. It's just been, I feel the momentum so much coming off of 2019, and even this mess that we're in now and not getting to go to Summit, it's still building, you guys. The train is rolling. So get on the train. You're all on it. You know what I mean? Anyways, okay, recruiting. So I still really believe that the best place to find coaches is in your challenge groups. So don't miss that point. Don't overlook your challengers as potential coaches. I want you to think back when you were a brand new challenger. Did you think, oh, I want to build a business. This sounds great. I want to be a coach and be all over social media and, post in a challenge group every day and have people and, be like, look at me, I worked out. No, I think our team is made up of a lot of people who that was the last thing that you thought you wanted to do. In fact, if you were like me, you were like, heck no, I have a job. I don't want to add anything to my plate. Stop asking me to be a coach. I don't want to do it. I was kind of mean to my coach when she kept asking me. I literally said to her, I already have a job. I know you don't have a job and you get to play around with this coach thing, but I already have a job and I'm not looking to do that. So when you're thinking about recruiting, think about how you felt. And don't take no for an answer, especially from your challengers the first time they say no, because they're probably going to say no at least the first time, if not the second, third, who knows how many times. And don't discount those discount coaches. Cece's been killing it in this department. A lot of times her coaches who are now thriving, a lot of them signed up for the discount, and she just continued to pour into them as if it was a sneak peek in her challenge groups and talk to them so much about the business that now they're killing it. Danny, going to be a success starter. She just popped a new diamond last week. I don't know where she went because she was on the Diamond Squad call, but Anna. So there is so much value in continuing to build up those people in your challenge groups. And I also, one thing I mentioned on the Diamond Squad call was, in terms of thinking of your own story, we all want that person to read one of our posts, click the comment button, I want to be a coach on your team, and then just take off. You never met this person in your life. She doesn't even need to taste Shakeology. She just says, sign me up, and she signs up everybody and their mom, and she runs to Diamond and Beyond. We all want that. And I don't think that that's, something that can't happen. But what happens far more often is that you get people plugged into the challenge groups, loving the community, loving Shakeology. They can't not have it. No matter how many times they say it's too expensive, they've got to have it. They say fine because it's cheaper as a coach, and you continue to pour into them and love on them, and they're the ones that take off and become the rock stars. So be that light in that challenge group. And I know you guys already do from a fitness standpoint, but always be thinking about your challenge groups as a way to recruit. And that's not a bad thing, because just as much as I preach, invite, be persistent, don't take the first or second or third or fourth no as an answer when you're inviting people to be in a challenge group. I kind of do the same thing with coaching. I did it to Julie McGavin. We would be literally texting back and forth about whatever, challenge group stuff. And I'd throw out coaching and the conversation would just stop. She literally would stop texting me back. And I just kept doing it, like randomly, like I'd think of Julie, I'm like, she would just be the best coach. I'm just going to tell her again, Julie, I'm thinking about you. You got to do this coaching thing with me. Like, you're already doing it. One of the very first team calls I was ever on by one of my uplines years ago was about this topic, and it stuck with me forever. And I feel like it has helped me to not just recruit coaches over the years, and I'm not a huge recruiter, but recruit people who stay. And I think that that is far more of what I'm looking for than being the top recruiter who then has like a shaky business. I'd rather be somebody who brings on the people who bleed blue and are never going to leave and love this and truly feel like it's changed their lives. Because once you give them that spark that it's changed their lives physically and emotionally, then you get to give them that invitation to change their lives financially. Whether it's to help their husband make a move that he wants to make because, right now you guys are really strapped and he hates his job and he wants to do something else. Well, a little extra money coming in, maybe he gets to go do that. Or maybe it means, you and you're trying to save up for a house and there's just no way with what you make or whatever the case may be. There's so many people out there that have their own story of financial hardship, whatever it looks like, that this can help them, even if it's gas or groceries or, I'm not going to preach to the choir because you guys all know that, but because of what we do, too often we get afraid to offer it just because of what it is. And I still find myself sometimes holding back on it because another thing we were talking about on the Diamond Squad call was the coach call from Carl. And when I first heard that he was going to do that, my initial thought was, ugh, because that's like what other MLMs do. There's, people talk about, oh, my CEO is hosting a call, you should come listen. That was like literally the first filter that I put through my brain about how am I going to leverage this call? But what we have is so good. So leave out Carl's call. You can do whatever you want with his call. But the point is, don't be afraid to be the squeaky wheel and be that person in somebody's ear, because as soon as you help them with their fitness and they see the light, you have the next step opportunity in that challenge group as their coach to let them see the light of what this business is. And literally there is no better time. My younger brother is huge into CrossFit, and we've had multiple nice fights about CrossFit versus Beachbody, which just funny because they're very different, but not fights, but we maturely discuss this. We've done this for many, many years. Emily, you know what I mean. And last night he asked me how's business? And I was like, well, it's weird right now because you don't want to be like, hey, guess what? This thing that I've been doing for a really long time, working from home, you can't leave your home. You should just do what I'm doing. But at the same time, I feel like shouting it from the rooftops. And he was like, well, you should. So coming from his perspective, and not that he's not supportive, this is just my personal example. And I know you all have your own personal examples, but coming from somebody who's always been very supportive of me, I know he loves me and I know he respects what I do, but he has a whole different filter on what I do, and more specifically the fitness side of it. I was like, you know what? I appreciate that you said that, because the challenge group, but find those people in your groups who are going to be your teammates, who are going to be the next diamonds on your team, who are going to change their lives financially because they decided to put themselves out there. I mean, Cassie just said at the beginning of this call, she was the person who unfriended people who posted sweaty selfies. And now look at her. We all have some part of our story where we went, nope, I would never do that. And now look at us. So don't discount people. Don't discount people in your challenge groups, and don't discount people that are watching you on your social media. The people who continue to watch, whether they're ghosting you or ignoring you or whatever, those are the people who end up coming around, because the people who are never going to do it, at some point they stop watching. I don't know if that's been your experience, but that's been mine. They stop watching, or at some point it's a hard no, and you're like, okay, you can move on. But the people who continue to watch month after month after month, they're waiting until they have the confidence to say yes. They're waiting until you write that post that speaks directly to them, where they go, I just got to do this. She's talking to me, you know? So we continue to show up for that person who needs this in their life right now. I get so fired up about recruiting. And I can't say that I'm the best recruiter, but I just feel like this is something that's so important. And if you, just like with inviting to a challenge group, or just like just inviting in general, when you lead with the passion that you have, it becomes so much fun. It was fun texting Julie, even though I knew she was going to ignore me as soon as I said something about it, because I just felt like one of these days she's going to respond. And it always goes one way or another. It's either a hard no, told you no, Andy, like, get the point, get my, you know, or it's a yes. And now she is part of our family. That's pretty rad. Okay, I'm going to take a little breather. Kim, what do you want to say on recruiting?
Well, I thought we were going to, or I think it would be good to show people like exactly some samples of like what it looks like to sign up, like you beginning of conversation. So kind of how I walk somebody in, you know, right out of the gate, signing them up as a coach. I thought it would be fun to just kind of walk through that from like beginning to end. So let's say, well, just all of my potentials will be named Laura. We don't have any Lauras on the team, right? No Lauras. I actually always like Susan, but we don't have any Susans either. So let's just go with Laura. So Laura messages back my 47th million message and says, I'm totally ready. I'm in. But I have a really big concern about, monthly charges. I don't want to have monthly charges. So this is not the kind of person you're going to want to be like, hey, let's sign up for being a discount coach, because they've already pretty much said from the get-go a hard no. Now, does it mean that down the line they might turn into a discount coach because the products speak for themselves? Absolutely not. But you're going to just chase them away if you start going down the road like, oh, but you'd save money and blah, blah, blah. No, just stick with the challenge pack, get them in, move them along. Okay. So Laura becomes just a regular customer. Then you get someone else who says, I know I need to give this my all. I'm ready to really commit. I know that it's going to take months but I'm ready to like go all in. This is like your perfect client to sign up as a discount coach right out of the gate, because this person, they've already made mention to the fact that they know that this is a month to month thing. So they're going to benefit from having Shakeology month to month to month. So a very easy way to say is like, okay, awesome. So I think, the best possible route for you would be for you to sign up as a discount member, because you are going to want to, receive a discount on Shakeology going forward, so that, we can continue working on your goals. Obviously lots of conversation before that, but just kind of getting to that part. And then, those are absolutely the people that I always, ask for their email, ask for their flavor, and kind of explain the differences. So usually how I break it down is if they say, okay, well, what am I looking at per month? I usually say $117, unless they are from Canada, then I say 120 or 127, I think. Any Canadians? Any of my, no, no. That's okay. So I would say 117. So because they're going to get to the checkout and they're going to see that they're going to be charged that $15.95 charge. So when they say anything, you are prepared to rebut with, well, if you can absolutely sign up as a regular customer, but you're going to be looking at more of like 144 per month. With shipping, with tax, with all of that, versus if you sign up as a discount member, you're looking at about 117. So it's totally up to you. You can cancel at any point. Plus you're going to get extra accountability. You're going to get meal plans monthly. Like there is a ton of perks as to being a discount coach or discount member is what I always say. Amy, any questions about that? No.
And we have wording that just kind of like quick and sweet sums all of that up for you, and we can share. It's already in the team page, but we can share it after the call too, just so you guys have it. It's just a good way to be able to send them the information without being like, I don't know what to say to try to explain the discount part. But it's perfect for this example where they've said yes and they've to the challenge group and to the challenge pack, and they've thrown it out there that they know this is going to be like a longer process for them, which most people, it is going to be a longer process, but not everybody is already looking at it that way. So
there is an image that you can send them, but I always find that it's really easy just to quickly sum it up in that route. If they really want to break down, then you could send them, there is those images that break down like Shakeology, discount, shipping, but they're really, you really do save a lot of money, and it's not just, it's the shipping that actually is the killer. In my opinion, basically shipping is the same price as your monthly fee. And they basically they cancel each other out, when you look at it that way. So I think being brave enough, I think what happens is, and I think Cassie and you and I are just talking about this, about how like you get too wordy. Like you start telling them too many things because you get excited, right? Like you're getting to okay, I think this person's going to buy something. And so then you start telling them like everything, like, oh, and you might want to get energized and you might need this. And so if you find that you're that person, and I get it, I feel like it's just new and excitement, then, stick with the wording in the team page is very simple. It's like, here's the basic packages. I highly recommend adding on, Energize, as it really does improve a lot, your workout, your mood, your life. But if, you don't want to do that, then you don't have to. And keeping it as simple as possible and trying not to get in the weeds with people, I feel like will be your best bet. And then as far as turning customers into discount coaches, and I totally get that we all want to sign as many business builders as possible, but I think we all can decide that at one point we were all discount coaches. So don't ever like negate to the fact that you don't want to sign. It's nice to have some customers that are paying that are just paying. You don't have to have all of them sign up as discount members, but if you know that, like, it is good. Also, fillers, they're great fillers to have so that you can stock load your team so that you're never losing that diamond status once you get there. So you can play it when I send a weekly email, and then I send a 2-week email or a 18-day email. And in that 18-day email is kind of when I give that introduction to those costs again. So that kind of gives a breakdown of like, hey, if you really want to save money before your next Shakeology comes out, you may want to think about signing up as a coach. Thoughts, questions?
Is that 18-day email in the group?
I think it's in, let me, I knew you were going to ask that question. I should have just known. I think it's in that drive.
Yeah, it's in the share doc.
Yes.
For a really long time, I would, about 2 weeks into a challenge group, I would message all of my people who weren't already signed up as a coach and say, we need to link the shared drive into the team page. That's not what I would say. I was just reading in this comment. And I would say, if this were true to the person, because, you know, not everybody's even showing up in the challenge group, so you're not going to say this, but for the people who are showing up and encouraging other people, I would simply say, have you ever considered coaching before? I think you'd be amazing at it because you're already doing a lot of what I do. Because think about it, when you ask that question, most of the time they're either going to say no, and then it's like you planted the seed, or they're going to say, yeah, I've been thinking about it, but I don't even know where to start. And that's your in to like explain more of it to them. They've already gotten a glimpse into the challenge group. They're already loving it. They're starting to love the product, all of it. So I used to do that about 2 weeks in. And again, it's not every single person in the challenge group gets that message because it's not true for every single person. If you have the person who's not even showing up in the group, then their message is, where are you? I'm here to help you. What's going on? You know, but for the Rockstar Challengers, they are going to make your best coaches. So absolutely ask them, whether you're sending the 18-day email or you're asking them a couple weeks into the challenge group, whatever your flow is. But it is important to ask them before their next shipment for their benefit so that you can get them signed up and get them getting the discount. And I do feel like I have a pretty high conversion rate at that point for the discount. And typically, just from a role-playing standpoint, typically then it's a yes for the discount, and they're still not really seeing the business side of it, or they're not wanting to, or they're not interested yet. So I treat them not as much as I talk to you girls, because you girls are like, yes, tell me all the things. But they're kind of in this in between of like, yes, they're still a challenger. So I pour into them and their fitness journey, but I'm consistently checking in with where they're at from a business standpoint, whether that's an email once a month to check in with them. I'm getting more into emails these days, but in the past, it was just a message at least once a month, just asking them, just again, being a bug in their ear about the business. I know you signed up for the discount. I always tell my people, I will never pressure you for the business. Yes, I'm persistent and I will ask, but I'm not going to pressure somebody to do it. That's just not my MO. But I want to continue to ask them, because just in the same sense that it takes a lot of asking for somebody to say, yes, I want to work out every day and do this thing that I know it's going to be hard. Sometimes it's the same for the business. You know, nobody really knows what coaching is until they're doing it and they're asking the questions and they're learning about it. So if you're not being a bug in their ear, like, hey, do you want to do this with me? Then they might not ever say, I want to do that. You know, I have had people on the team who were discount coaches for a long time, and then all of a sudden they decided that they wanted to do it, kind of like, oh, like you want to do this, you know, it kind of like catches you off guard after a while. But then again, I think back to my own story, and I was a discount coach for 6 months. So always continue to talk to those people. And then, of course, the other thing I wanted to talk about with recruiting is, like we said, we all want those people who actually respond to our posts that are blatantly about coaching or breadcrumbs about coaching, or in our stories when we're talking about coaching. We all want those people to say yes. So don't shy away from talking about it. Don't shy away from posting about it and sharing about it and shouting it from the rooftops. But also don't be discouraged when you make a post like that if people don't raise their hand. And this doesn't mean that it's not that way for everybody's business. I know that there's people in this company who came into the business for the financial side of it. So their message and their story tends to be a lot more about the money and their earnings and things like that. So they're naturally attracting those people. For me personally, my story started with fitness. So I do talk about replacing my nursing income and the financial side of it, but is why I think our team is really big on recruiting from challenge groups. It's how I was recruited. It's how I learned the business, and it's how I've taught the business. That doesn't mean that has to be how you do it though. So I want you guys to make sure you hear that. You are the CEO of your own business and you get to run the show however you want to run it. So if you're like, you know what, I want to talk more about the money and the income opportunity and all of that, then by all means do it. And one thing that I think is really helpful to kind of figure out what that looks like for you is go watch other coaches who do that a lot. There's coaches who share income progressions of not just themselves, but other coaches. Even if you're a brand new coach, you can say like, here's the income progression of a Beachbody coach, whatever. Of course, be, what's the word? Be tactful with it, like don't be like, hey, you can make all of this money. That's not how, I just don't think that that's the right way to do it. But I hope you guys understand what I'm saying. I think the message that you put out most consistently is the type of coach you're going to attract. And I think it's just human nature that people sign up with you because they're attracted to your story. So when I tell my story and it starts with the fitness and it moves into the financial side of things, that's the people who I tend to bring into my circle. But some girls jumped in because they're like, I had no job. I had nothing to do. I saw this girl post that she made $500 in 1 month and I had to do that. So that's the story they're telling all the time because that's their story. So guess what happens? That's the type of people that they're going to attract. So does that make sense? Is that helpful to think about it like that? So it doesn't mean that your story is wrong or that you should tell any other story than your story. You can absolutely be bold in talking about the income potential and all of that, even if your story is that you came in as a challenger. But I do think that is, I think network wide, it's far more common to find coaches within your challenge groups than outside of that. But there are people who will say yes for the business opportunity before even being in a challenge group. It will happen. I don't want you guys to think that never happens. But that's why being really strategic in how you share your story is a big piece of it. So I do think it's super helpful to always go and see how other people are sharing. And it doesn't change your story, but it gives you kind of ideas on how to talk about it. I know I felt stuck for a long time, feeling like I was saying the same thing, which you do, but I needed like a fresh take on it, a fresh light. So I looked to a coach who has a similar story to mine to see kind of how she was sharing it, and that helped. So. Does anybody have any questions, comments, anything?
Can I ask a quick question about, I've been kind of hinting at this with Kim a little bit lately, but I was trying to watch some of the information on like what team cycling is and bonuses and all that stuff since you kind of brought it up. I feel like in that one of the videos they said that you just don't earn any income from your coaches. Did I hear that wrong? Do you know what I'm saying? Like if they buy product,
well, once you're an emerald or above coach, then you earn volume. So you never earn any commission off of your coaches, but what they purchase turns into volume points, which as long as you're an emerald or above, then you earn a team cycle bonus.
Okay.
I can share that video into the team page. That's like a 6-minute video with little figures that helps explain what team cycle bonuses are. So it's not that you don't make money off of your coaches, but you don't earn commission off of your coaches.
Okay, that makes sense. Because I was like, I feel like I've gotten a bonus from like them buying a challenge pack when they sign up or whatever. But
you do.
Sure. Yeah. Okay.
You get a fast start bonus. When somebody signs up with a challenge pack as a coach, you earn a fast start bonus. I think it's like $50. Yeah. And then going forward, you earn volume from their purchases and the purchases of people on their team.
On those legs. Okay. I just wanted clarification on that since I was not quite sure, but that explains it. Thank you.
I think one last thing that I would want to say about recruiting is for a long time we called it the R word. Like people are afraid to like call it that or even think about it like that, and don't be that way, because when you're recruiting somebody, you're sharing an opportunity with them, something that can drastically change their life. And I've seen a lot of coaches get stuck at this point because in their mind, they feel like they're signing somebody up for even though they love it, the coach themselves loves coaching, loves being a part of the team, loves all of it. When they think about like, oh my gosh, I have to recruit, I have to sign people up on my team, as if it's like a dirty word. It's not. It's giving somebody another layer of opportunity to change their life in a positive way. So you have to think about it like that. I've seen too many coaches get stuck, and it's all because of the mindset that they have about adding to their team. It's not a bad thing to add to your team. It's beneficial for you, and it's beneficial for the person that you're bringing on. You don't know if that person's going to be the next Melanie Mitro or whoever, Ashley Molstad. You just don't know how much that person's life can be impacted by you being brave enough to say, do you want to do this coaching thing with me? Even though my coach doesn't even coach anymore, I'm still very grateful for her for pestering me to do this. All right, well.
Anything else? I mean, and what else? What are other things that you guys want to have topic wise in team calls? I think that's a big thing. Like, what would be helpful to hear? What would be helpful to do? What would be things that would help you move, your business forward?
I think we should do a little, maybe like once a month, or I don't know how often, but I really liked when we did like the working call where we would like have a topic, we set the timer, we all mute ourselves, and we just reach out to those people, and then timer goes off and we have a new thing. Okay, now we're going to go follow up for 15 minutes, and now we're going to go post a couple stories about your day that you maybe haven't gotten to yet, so that we're all kind of doing things that maybe we don't normally do that we should be doing, and then we can ask like questions or whatever to help.
Yeah, I like that. We were supposed to do one of those once a month. I can't remember when we were going to do it. Maybe the second one of the month?
Yeah, we kept talking about it. Then we kept having all these people who were just doing all these good things, and we wanted them to share what they were doing. And
but yeah, I think that would be maybe like the second week of the month be a working call. Because usually, yeah, I think that would be good.
I like that.
The other thing we were talking about on the Diamond Squad call that in regards to recruiting is, don't be afraid to like host your own Zoom, even if no one shows up, because I can tell you how many times I've hosted a Zoom and there's been literally nobody there. Nobody else has to know that, just an FYI. But one of the kind of we were talking about, should we do it as teams or should we do it as people? And Cece brought up a good point of just like joining forces with a couple of girls on, within your team. So we kind of want to empower you, because I think this is something you kind of have to decide that you want to do on your own, that, throwing in your stories, hey, I'm hosting a little Zoom, and you can use that word now because everybody and their mother, my mom asked me today, like, I have to download a Zoom account. And I was like, do you know what that is, Kim? I'm like, no, what's a Zoom? Mom, I've been Zooming for so long now, I'm like a professional. But anyway, you could say like, hey, I'm hopping on a Zoom and I'm going to share my story. I'm going to share how, I'm working on my fitness and I'm getting paid to do it. I'd love for you to come take a listen. And it doesn't have to be some like well thought out, like this extravagant, anything. All it simply has to be is you and your story. And as long as it resonates well with you, practice telling your story. Take a video of yourself telling your story and send it to some of your closest friends and say like, hey, listen, like you really want to up your game, then let this be something that you have in like your wheelhouse. Like, okay, sit down, put on some makeup, because Lord knows none of us do that anymore, and or clothes for that matter. I'm pretty sure my workout clothes just adapt to my attire for the day. But throw on some real clothes and just film yourself telling your story, and try to keep it, don't get wordy, don't have like some bullet points, like why did you start, what kept you going, what does the tribe do for you? What were your transformations? What kind of thing did you overcome, whether it was binge eating or not eating enough or diet pills or whatever your thing is. Why this over anything else, and simply how now you love just giving back and being somebody that has an opportunity for people to run this business. And film yourself, send it to some of your friends, and just say, hey, would you mind taking a listen to this? And then ask a couple friends, like, say, hey, so and so, I would love to just hop on a Zoom. Would you be willing to do this with me? And then film it, and then you have that. And then between that time that you do it and then the next time you do it, you have that video that you can send to people. Like, hey, you're interested in coaching. Well, I'd love to send my story to you. Can I send it? And now you have it as a recorded, file, and you can just send it off and away they go. Don't be afraid to just step out and do that. Don't be afraid to just go live and share your story. That's also a very, hey, at 6 p.m. on Thursday, I'm going to be sharing my story in my Instagram. I'd love for you to come check it out, and away you go. And now that Instagram lives there, and you can tag people should they ever question it. So I think sometimes we wait for those big, like, oh, we're going to do big sneak peek, or we're going to do this, or we're going to do that. When the reality is, if you feel like, man, I know a lot of people who could really benefit from residual income right now. One of the statements I heard this week, which I haven't heard in a while, and I've heard it now from 3 different people, is I'm really nervous to go back to real life, because back means I'm going back to a job I hated. And all I'm seeing is how much I want to stay home. And so, guys, not to say capitalize on those people, but you have an opportunity that if they wanted to work, you and I both know, if you worked and you stepped your butt and you did all the things that you're supposed to do, because we all know the areas that we don't do, you could make it something. So I think that don't be afraid to do that. Don't, empower you to. That was one of the very first things I did as a coach. I signed up on May 25th. I sat down on May 26th and I filmed my why. And then I sent it to 150 people in my closest, all my best friends and my family and whatever. And I just simply said, here's why I'm doing this. This is what I'm doing. I just want you to know. So when you start seeing my sweaty selfie on the internet, you're not like, what's happening? Or if I'm in a bikini, you're not going to understand. Here's my why. I want you to know my why, because I care about you and I care about your opinion. But at this point going forward, you either join me or you either like support me or peace out. I didn't say that, but it gave me permission to go and do the things, is how I sort of made it. It gave me, it was like that, like, okay, well, I've told everybody I know, like, why I'm doing this, and then I went out and did it. And so yeah, and then my why obviously has just changed and adapts over the years. So I highly recommend taking that time and doing that. Very powerful and very needed.
So
Anything
who's
else?
doing it tomorrow?
I
Anybody?
said Wednesday. Who's signing up? No takers.
I have a question.
Go ahead. Yeah.
How long are your whys? I actually did something like that today, but I deleted it because I just felt like I was rambling.
That's okay. The more you do it, then, the better you get at it. Stacey brought a good point. She said that she's seen a lot of top coaches say in their stories, like, it's just going to be 25 minutes when they're kind of talking about the fact that they're going to do it. So that's like a good, place to shoot for.
I actually have my like sorry, I hadn't talked in a while. I actually have it recorded if you guys want to see it. I can show it to you.
Yeah,
That'd be great.
It's not like it's crazy special, but it'd be a good place to start. So,
and even if nobody says anything, you just show up. Even if no one says I want the link and nobody says they want to come, you show up. You can send it in a quick email to every customer you've ever had, like, hey, I'm sharing about how this business changed my life. I'd love for you to come take a listen. If not, I can send you the recording if you would rather. Just show up and do it. You're only going to get braver when you keep doing the things that scare you,
And if you want a buddy for your first time, ask. Somebody will
Yeah.
totally do it with you. Then your people get 2 stories.
Yep.
Or if nothing else, you guys practice together. Let's go recruit all the people. Okay, team?
All the people, hundreds of people.
Yeah, I think that's a
All
really
the
good
people.
idea if you do it together, because it's like you're just talking to the other person.
Yeah.
Now that you
Totally.
This
I think
Also,
also
job.
taking
Sorry, go ahead.
I think also just taking the pressure off yourself too, and just like making sure it's a really relaxed environment. Because I know as soon as we started our call, like Danny and Anna and I, you know, we already have good chemistry because we talk every single day, and that you could tell was spilling out into the people joining us. Like they felt so comfortable, and they were like talking and saying things, and that I think just making sure that you're looking at it as not like some big scary thing, but just as like another way to like hang out with other
Yeah.
people and talk
Yeah.
about this all.
totally. Back in the day, Brittany and I used to do like almost like a dialogue. Like she would ask a question and then I would answer the question with my story, and then we would like wrap. Do you remember that, Anna? I felt like that was I feel like we did a lot of those in my lifetime. Yeah.
Yeah, but it got me. It got me. So I'm here. So it worked.
So it won. It was a winner. It was a winner.
in
It was a winner. Yeah, totally. Once you have that dynamic with someone, and you're never going to know who you have that, you know, until you get on calls, and you know, this is why our virtual gym is so essential.
And this job just requires you to get out of your comfort zone. I mean, I don't think anybody on this call could sit here and be like, oh, this is what I planned to do with my life, be on Zoom calls, sharing my fitness story every day of my life. But it's also what empowers you and helps you build that confidence the more you do it. Get better and better. And it gets
Amen
fun.
to that. Yeah.
It gets exciting when you have that person say, you know, that inspired me. I want to do what you do because of the story that you just told.
A to the men. By the way, I am working on our shake video. It's just taking a little more organization than they just came in from everywhere, so it's more just making sure I'm not missing anybody. So I'm gonna just
I
send
didn't
a
really
list.
realize how like complex it was.
Well,
I feel like it was way more complex for you to like put together than I anticipated. But
Once I
it should
have
be
them,
fun.
it's fine. It's once I have them, it's easy. I just need to make sure I have everybody, because I got them from people who I don't always like. I don't even know their names, so it's like like I'm looking through, and I'm the worst. Like I have so many messages I haven't read, so I'm like, wait, who are you a coach sending me something, or are you a person sending me something? So I just need to do that. So I will do that, and then I'm gonna organize it by reds and yellows. So I'm getting there. Okay, it just won't be like, it's not an instant thing, but I promise it will be really good once you get it.
Well, we appreciate you putting in the effort.
What was the song I'm supposed to do again?
I think you were talking about, I don't know what you were talking about, but I think
you
it
were
was Black
right.
Magic.
I think
Or
so.
Helmet, or little, yeah, I think that's what it's called.
What's
Black
it called? Black Magic or Juice by what's her name?
Lizzo.
Yeah,
But
Lizzo.
Black Magic might be a little more appropriate. I mean, depends on what you're going for.
I mean,
We
did
can do both and, you know, use it now and then next
Yes.
month it's Lizzo.
I do like that.
True.
But I think now I have the ideas flowing, and now we could get pretty creative here in this whole, like, doing things in different places. And yeah, we, you know, as we're bored in our house.
Oh my gosh, if I see that one more time, I swear. People are coming out with all sorts of dances. I'm just like, where are these coming from?
Because too many people are sitting at home bored in their house, and so they don't know what else to do.
She's been TikToking.
They're
Yeah,
just
I saw an
TikToking and trillering. And
I just saw some sort of news article that was released about TikTok. It was not good.
what was it? What was it?
It was like there's this like senator or some sort of guy who's going to be putting some sort of thing on the ballot that's talking about how the people that own TikTok work for the Chinese government and how they've been because of the way that their democracy is run, they share their information with other countries and stuff.
They're
And
saying
so-
that about Zoom too.
Really?
and Snapchat and everything else with face recognition.
I'm just wondering if it's real. Like I just saw it, so I have no clue. I didn't do any research yet, but I was
all
like
true.
scared.
It's all true.
I
I
guess
mean, you
it's
guys, people are watching us right now. At the end of the,
you
at the
guys
end
see
of
the
the day,
article that in December, Zoom had 10 million users, and in March had 210 million users.
that's insane.
I mean, this is the best place to steal information, I guess.
Yeah, and they're selling it to Facebook and everything. Like, they're doing all sorts of things, but they also didn't have security features in place because they only had 10 million users.
Right.
And so now people are like, the Zoom bombing. Have you guys heard of Zoom bombing?
Yes.
No.
Well, I had to put controls on because schools. So when in our like literally in our county, students were getting on and people were Zoom bombing, which is basically just like strangers getting on and talking to your kids. And so now I told like our district, I was like, you need to put password everything. So when you send out a link, it has to have a password. Otherwise, anybody can just hop on. Like someone could hop on to us right now. We don't have passwords set on these, but I feel like we would
type in a random 9-digit number and then pop on somebody's call, right? Like in hope that
pretty
somebody's
much.
calling.
Yep.
And then predators are doing it now too for kids because they're not outside. So they
Yep.
are hacking into Zoom calls and having conversation when the teacher isn't on yet or is on there. I had the same
Yeah.
conversation with my district. So it's crazy.
Creepy. People are creepy.
Maybe Zoom released the coronavirus just so they could get to 110 million.
Isn't that meme? Like Scooby Doo, where they like uncover who's behind Corona and it's Zoom. It's not funny, but it is funny. Guys.
It's all
Yeah.
it's
Memes. I mean, you have to laugh at something because
Well, if people are bombing this call, we're just gonna recruit them anyway. So come join
bomb
us.
away.
We want you.
I was listening to this guy. Did you guys ever listen to Gary Vaynerchuk? He's been doing like interviews with people on Facebook. I love him most of the time. Sometimes I'm like, you're a little whatever. But he was talking about he was talking to this kid, and this kid like he's like, I've been trying for so long and I've been doing all these things, and then finally I just like broke into TikTok and now I have like 40 million followers and I just don't even know what to do with all these people, and I want to make millions and I want to do all these things, and I've got this airplane. I don't even know what he did. But Gary's like, well, here's the thing. Those 40 million people that are following you are not going to invest in your company because they don't have any money. They're a bunch of kids. So yes, you might be TikTok famous, but you're not, those aren't like going to make you rich, just as an FYI. It was pretty good. It was pretty funny. But that's like how
That
fast
is good
people
to
blow
know.
up.
I feel like a lot of people, yeah, especially in that Boss Babe page, I've through all my creeping, they say that they get on TikTok just to like gain followers, and they do their videos on TikToks because they've been able to gain a good majority of followers. But those have to be really young people, like kids, right?
I mean, you would think so.
Maybe.
Not anymore. TikTok's really going like skewing older now. When it started, it was all like high schoolers or up to like 22. But now it's like one of the fastest growing social media platforms and where people are making the most money. So it's starting to skew older,
That's crazy.
like, older as in like 30.
Wow.
Yeah. Man.
All the things to keep up with, you guys.
I can't even keep up. I'm like an old person now. I can't keep up. What's TikTok? It's just
3 hours to make a TikTok video today. 3. Well, I was in and out of doing things, but I think I might stick to Triller.
I love it. I think it's so fun.
No, I had fun making my I did the Cupid Shuffle last night, and I think it has like 7,000 views on TikTok. I'm like, who are these people? Where are they? What are they doing? Can they buy challenge packs or sign up as coaches? Or like, how do I even know who they are? Like, and then their names are nothing I recognize. And I'm like, I'm just gonna post it and never look back and hope for the best that I don't end up on some crazy, creepy channel in China or wherever all these people are from. It's fine. They are really good though. All right, we better go. It's 8 o'clock.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Hey, girls.
Bye.
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 Did somebody take
Bye.
a picture? Did we take pictures?
I took a couple during.
Okay.
I don't know what everybody's doing in the photo, but
Everybody just wave. Everybody, one.
Get a beer?
Everybody just wave. Wave, wave, wave. Okay. I'll
nailed
put
it.
it on the page.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye.
Good night. Bye.